Hey, what's going on, everyone? Mike Lowe here, and we are actually restarting the very brief series that we had going, the same old Lions, but same kind of exact theme going on with the new rosters coming out, a couple game patches now. Just wanted a good, fresh restart. NFL starts this weekend too, so I figured this is a really good time to really connect with the community again. The slider set is posted up on the Operation Sports forum. Version 1.1 just updated that this morning, which is Saturday. And yeah, I appreciate you guys checking out this series. It should be a lot of fun. As you most of you know, I am a huge Detroit sports fan. That's where I grew up. Spent the first 25 years of my life, and just die hard through and through. I always say I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the NFL, but I do love the Lions, and I support the team, as much as I can from a distance here. And so this franchise really is just kind of I always joke and say that the Lions are kind of like they're the old Chicago Cubs of baseball. It's just, I mean, they're lovable losers at this point, and really hoping that in real life and in this franchise that they can break away from that reputation. But nonetheless, we're going to talk all about franchise gameplay. That's kind of the whole theme of this stream series. It's again a focus on franchise, right? And of course, the same old Lions, kind of an SOL joke going all the way back to when Tony Dungy brought it into the national spotlight when he said it on national TV once. But it's a saying that a lot of Detroit fans have said out of frustration with the Lions for a number of years. Just SOL, same old Lions, and but boy, the Lions have really had some just bad luck too. And if you look up just kind of some random different YouTube videos on the Lions. And I'm sure every team has their kind of YouTube version of like, our team got screwed, but really, truly, the Lions have a remarkable history with it over the last few years. Even last year, there were a couple of games that were just remarkably bad, badly called games and so on. So with the season starting tomorrow, super excited to see it. But again, I think this will be a really fun streaming series to do here. So yeah, I appreciate everyone checking it out. I appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel here, the Mike Lowe one. And again, I appreciate the support so much with the MLB The Show sliders, making them the #1 downloaded slider set again this year, which is super exciting. And again, hoping to do something similar here with Madden as we look to find some realistic gameplay and just enjoy franchise mode for what it is. It's not a perfect mode. I'm a huge supporter of the fixed Madden franchise hashtag, but also understand that this is probably the best Madden I've ever played. The gameplay is really, really, really good. Yes, I am 100% behind people who want to get the franchise fixed, but I'm not going to sit around and pout about it. I mean, life goes on, right? And so I am really excited about this. So we're actually in practice mode, which is where we're starting this streaming series, which you may be asking why. But one of the big things we're doing in this franchise is we're going to be using the broadcast camera, but more specifically, a kind of a zoomed out version of it, which you're going to see here when we're using pass plays. If you want to know more about what the hell this is, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but really the details are in a thread on Operation Sports. There's a story they posted probably within the last week or so, and there's also a thread in their forum that's linked in that story that talks all about what we're going to be doing here. And it's a lot easier to not only demo in practice mode, but when you go to practice this, use practice mode. It's going to help you. So what it is, you call it pass play, and I just kind of have on practice mode, they're just calling any old random pass play. This is kind of a bad one to demo first because my receiver is going to go in motion. But nonetheless, let me show you what this is going to look like. So you can see here, this is the regular zoom. The regular broadcast camera. You can run plays out of this. You can run screen passes, but really any other pass, it's going to be really, really tricky because they keep the focus so much on the offensive backfield that you're just not seeing routes downfield. But what you can do is you can kind of trick the system a little bit by switching to player lock temporarily and then switching off player lock. And then what happens is the camera starts way zoomed out and then it starts to zoom in. And whenever you're ready, whenever you're comfortable with that depth, you can hit X on the PlayStation 4 and you can snap the ball and then it's going to stay at that particular zoom. So this isn't my idea. This is a guy, Ram something or other, on the Operation Sports Forum, has been doing this since like Madden 18 or something, or Madden 19. But it's really, really cool and it's fun and it takes some getting used to. I am not the greatest quarterback in Madden to begin with, but on this mode it definitely takes some adjusting. So again, this series on All-Madden difficulty, it's definitely going to take some adjusting to get used to. But let me show you how it is. And the thread will say you need to switch to receiver. It doesn't matter who you switch to. Like, you can do it from a running back. The key is when you switch like this, see, I'm switching between the guys, and this is just hitting O and my directional pad. as I'm hitting these, if I wait too long, that's where the problems happen. So you need to kind of switch to the guy right away, hit player lock. When it's zoomed out again, hit player lock again. And you see that zoom? Now I can snap this whenever I want, right? But eventually it's going to go back to the regular broadcast. So let's do that one more time. Now watch, if I do it now without switching off Swift, oh, it is going to do it this time. Yeah, see how it doesn't zoom out? It doesn't give you that zoom. So you need to switch to somebody and then do it. And now it'll do that slow zoom, right? So again, pretty straightforward. Now this time let's run the play. And again, this one's a little bit of a weird one because Marvin Jones is going to go in motion here. But I'm going to switch to the running back, switch off, hit X because he has to go in motion. And there we go. So you find your receiver. And again, I would spend a little time in practice mode with this for sure. But really the same kind of rules apply, right? I mean, you're calling out coverage. Looks like there's a blitz coming to the right. You can look at your play art here. You can bluff your play art if you want. So it's all of the same stuff essentially. You just need to kind of make the adjustment. Oops, and see sometimes it does that. So you just switch off again, and now you're ready to go. Another in route is going to be open. So good catch there by Jones. But so hey, you know it takes some getting used to. I've been playing Madden since Madden 92. I think I've played every Madden since then. I've never played on broadcast mode. And so, you know, if you're playing this going, oh, this is really difficult, it's taken me a long time to get used to, it's going to be normal. This is a weird thing, but it's going to look so much more like the real life broadcast, right? It's just, so again, I can switch to the tight end. It doesn't matter who you switch to. Oh, bad throw. But yeah, it's a really, really cool thing. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you guys right off the bat so that I'm not trying to teach it during the game. It can get a little bit tricky doing that. But yeah, super, super fun stuff. Holiday's open there. So yeah, very, very cool. And if you have questions, I know some people may here on the stream have questions. But definitely you can either post in the Operation Sports thread or right here on the YouTube channel. Just leave a comment and I'll check out those comments for sure. Practice mode, something MLB The Show needs for franchise. J-Hack, they have a practice mode. It's not necessarily loaded in franchise mode, but you can definitely use practice mode. They have it for fielding, pitching, batting. Yeah, there's definitely practice mode. I encourage people to use it all the time. I do not have 0 pass blocking for the user anymore. I think that's up to 40. You probably could. It was playing okay with it, honestly. It's just the Lions' offensive line is so bad that I wasn't quite sure I was ready for a 0 pass block. That was more based off of a different slider thread up on Operation Sports where I was reading, and it kind of like testing out the actual real time that you have in real life to throw, which I think is really, really cool. But the Lions' offensive line is pretty bad, and it was making it pretty damn difficult. So I think I have it at 40. Is where that's at. And again, I just updated some of that today, version 1.1. So, but I'm going to back out of practice mode. Let's run one more play here again, so just kind of show you guys. All right. So player lock, unplayer lock, snap the ball. Look for your open receiver, throw it underneath there. Yeah, same thing. It's really fun. Run game. You haven't even seen run plays, but same thing. It really opens up the run. You can zoom out on runs if you want. But yeah, overall, it's a really, really cool thing. So. All right, let's back out of this. Actually, let's. I had to turn down. I'm always so paranoid. YouTube will flag videos if you have music playing, even though the music's licensed in the game. So I had to turn down the stadium speakers here just in case. But for some reason during gameplay it won't, but in this practice mode is playing the game's music. And this is a very, very slow. Even if I hold it down, look how slow it goes. So I have to sit here and put all these back to 100. But anyway, just in case YouTube tried to flag my video, I wanted to clear that up. But so practice mode versus game mode, slightly different. You're going to find practice mode is probably a little bit easier. And especially when I'm playing the Bears, week 1, Khalil Mack, it's a challenge. It's a challenge on offense for sure. Again, the slider, if you want to see the details of those sliders, they are up on Operation Sports, as I mentioned. And this is an owner mode franchise, so I'm really focused on letting Coach Patricia have a say here. So I've let him run training. I let him pick. I simulate all the training. I simulate it all because the AI teams only simulate on bronze training, right? So I let the coach pick it. I sim it. I don't go through and play these to get gold because your players will start progressing more than the AI teams, and that's just not as fun for me. If you want to do that, that's cool. Like I said, I don't judge. I don't really care how people play it. But I know some people ask what I do, so that's what I like to do. So what Coach Patricia has done is he's focused on red zone offense. That's nice. That could actually really work out well with one of Kenny Galladay's quirks, or whatever they're called in this game. I forget. I think they're quirks still. But he has he's an efficient red zone pass catcher in single coverage. So that could be a really, really good thing for Kenny Galladay. Man blitz on defense, that can definitely help because even with the pass block slider at 0 for the AI, it can still be a little bit tricky to get pressure, which is good. Madden's had a problem with it's been too easy to sack the quarterback, so I'm really happy that change has been made. And like I said earlier, this is the best game playing Madden I've ever played. So that's the game plan that Coach Patricia went with. I do use his particular schemes, so I'm not messing with that. If I want to change schemes, I'm going to have to hire a new coach. So we are using a multiple zone run, which works out well for DeAndre Swift, who is going to be our starting running back, even though he's the 3rd rated running back on our team, and a defensive scheme of 3-4 under. So again, that's what Coach Patricia is using. We're going to be using his playbooks, and so we'll see how it goes. Is he? And I mean, truthfully, in real life, this is kind of a make or break year for Coach Patricia, and yeah, I mean, it's probably a short leash for him here too. I really hope the Lions can make the playoffs in real life. I don't know. I don't think they're that. I love the Lions. I am fully supportive. I think they have enough offensive weaponry. I just don't know collectively. I think they're a decent team, but there are a lot of good teams in the NFC, and I think that's the problem is that, even being a decent team is probably not going to cut it in the NFC. That's my preseason prediction, I guess you could call it. But here's what the team looks like. We have not made any free agent acquisitions this time around. Nothing like that's going on. You can see I mentioned our offensive line is not great. I mean, we have 3 guys who are rated in the 60s, 1 guy below 65. I mean, a huge hole. I mean, something we absolutely need to address, but there's just really nothing out there. Kenny Galladay is really our star in offense. As I mentioned, he's got a couple abilities here. He has the win in the red zone. As I mentioned, receivers with this ability have the better chance to win contested catches against single coverage. So that's something we can keep in mind when we're inside the 20. He catches passes well outside of the numbers. So again, it's not necessarily out routes. It's just, it could be streaks, anything that's kind of keeping him. It could be a flag route, anything that's keeping him towards the outside, essentially, right? So keeping him on the outside is nice. We don't keep him in the slot really ever. Marvin Jones, again, another receiver. Both these guys will be free agents at the end of the year. Amendola is 33, right? So, I mean, beyond that, we don't have a lot of depth at receiver. DeAndre Swift, we are going to give the start, even though Adrian Peterson and Kerryon Johnson are also on the roster. He is a scheme fit. I want to see one of the only negatives, I guess, of starting at the start of the regular season with the updated roster is that you have 0 plays played towards that unlocking his potential. And I haven't spoiled this yet. I have not seen. I did not play far enough in my little test franchise to see what he would be. My guess is that him and Okuda are both star, but I don't know. Just kind of looking at their weekly training points that they're getting, but we'll have to see. So anyway, Swift's going to get the start, but really this is kind of like a 3-headed monster a little bit at running back because our specialty back is Kerryon Johnson, both for third down and for power. But the primary backup on offense is going to be Adrian Peterson, so he very well could get worked into the mix too. So we'll try to go with the hot hand, which is something I've kind of noticed in Madden, and it might be a placebo thing, I'm not sure, but it does seem like there are hot and cold running backs throughout the weeks. It seems like, at least. I'll have a guy who just can't get things going, but then usually the backup, even if he's kind of poorly rated, can run pretty well. So Stafford, love Matthew Stafford in real life. I'm not a huge fan of him in Madden, honestly, because of these traits that they've given him. The trigger-happy sense of pressure and aggressive forcing passes. That's a really, really terrible combination. Because when he's under pressure, a lot of those balls, you get those suction balls that oh, wonderful, you threw it right to the safety. You see quite a few of those. So it's really important to wait for guys to get open. We're playing an All-Madden. We're playing with the pass block slider at 40. That doesn't always happen all the time, right? So it's like, do you take a sack? Do you try to force something a little bit more? Do you try to throw into a tight window? It can be a little bit tricky, but to me, it's like try to establish a run, right? Try to get DeAndre Swift here going. Let's try to get his career off to a good start. So there's a look at the offense. We look at the Lions on defense. I mean, right away you see a lot of bronze up here, right? I think Jerron Harmon's a good safety. He's a veteran player. I like Tracy Walker a lot, especially in real life. I think this guy is a future star for the Lions. He's a 77 overall right now, just 25, but he has shown some really nice flashes, and I'm really excited for Tracy Walker. So we'll see if he can develop like that here in real life. Of course, really the big weakness here is at linebacker. We're primarily playing a nickel defense. That's kind of our base defense with this team because of Okudah. And so, Jamie Collins will be on the field, and we really just need to kind of fill in with one of these guys, but really none of these guys are great players. They're nice guys to have on the roster, but definitely not dominant players. And in Madden, it's very helpful to have linebackers, not for probably the ways you're thinking of, like run around and get interceptions. That's been toned way down this year, which is awesome. Like, thank you, EA Sports, for toning that down. But really stopping the run. I mean, having linebackers who can run around, get around blocks, that sort of thing. These guys aren't great at it. So you notice a big difference when you're using Jamie Collins, for instance, a guy who's been a Pro Bowler in his career. He can get around blocks. He can make tackles in the open field. It definitely helps. So while I probably wouldn't want to pick a linebacker in the top 10 in the draft, it is definitely a spot that we want to look to improve upon for next year. So we have a lot of depth at corner, which is great. Justin Coleman's our top corner. Desmond Trufant is a guy wearing Darius Slay's jersey number, our best press corner, and of course Okudah, who is the number 3 pick in the draft. Just starting him off slowly here in his career. He's going to be our third corner, but we'll primarily play on the outside because we have Desmond Trufant as our top slot corner. But just about always, not always, but most of the time we're running 3 corners, mostly because we want to get Okudah on the field and keep Coleman and Trufant, but also because of our weaknesses here at linebacker. We're very thin at defensive tackle. I like Danny Shelton a lot. It came over from the Patriots. But beyond that, it's bad, right? So if Danny Shelton goes down, we're going to be in some trouble this year. Deshaun Hand, I think, is a really promising player out of Alabama, entering his third year as a pro. He's a guy who can really, in a 4-3, you could probably play defensive tackle. Trey Flowers, of course, it's kind of the prototype power rushing defensive end. He doesn't just do it with speed necessarily. He just kind of bull rushes people. So he's a player who in real life really kind of quietly produces a lot of pass rush. He doesn't rack up the huge sack numbers. I don't remember what he had last year for sacks, but he doesn't rack up massive sack numbers. You can see he doesn't have like 15 sacks, but it's too bad that Madden doesn't track some of these more advanced metrics like QB pressures, QB knockdowns, pass rush percentage, right? Because I would be willing to bet he's well over 10%, which is kind of like a nice threshold to look at when you're combining, again, getting in a quarterback's face, quarterback hits, those sort of things. If you can kind of average that out to like above 10% of the pass plays, that's a very, very solid pass rush percentage. And I would love to see what his percentage would be in a game like Madden. Because that would be a really, really cool thing. So again, there's some strengths, definitely some weaknesses. Going back to the defense here, but we're a pretty decent defensive line. Again, the corners are a strength for this team. Special teams, not much to report. Matt Prater, Danny Amendola, specialist. New punter this year, I think his name's Jack Fox. Yeah, Jack Fox out of Rice. Let's see. I mentioned some of the specialists. I'm really excited for Julian Okwara, even though he's only a normal development. 6'4", 252 rookie. He was the third pick in the third round for the Lions. This guy was supposed to be as early as this guy would have been a first-round pick had he not broken his leg, or I think he broke his leg at Notre Dame. But of course, he's the younger brother of Romeo Okwara, also on the Lions. So this was actually a really cool pick. It was a pick that my friends would have to vouch for, but in our little text messages during the draft, I'm like, the Lions are going to pick Julian Okwara. The Lions are going to pick Julian Okwara. And sure enough, they did. And I was like, yes, cool. I find, like, for all the ones you get wrong, you're like, oh, they're going to do this. Like, oh, fail. That was the one I nailed this year. So I got props from my friends for that one. Again, I thought the brother connection would be kind of cool. And I mean, he's just a hell of a player. So I'm excited to see. We're kind of giving him a big responsibility of being our left end rusher on pass downs here to see if we can kind of jumpstart his development a little bit potentially, even at normal, getting guys playing time, producing sacks, those sort of things can start to help him. So he's kind of a little an experiment here. You can see Deshaun Hand just isn't much of a pass rusher, but he's going to be there. Shelton, again, same thing. He's more of a big body. So if we need a second defensive tackle, he'll just come in and be fat, as I like to say. Let's see, Jamie Collins and Tavai. And I already mentioned the running back. So that's what's going on there. Practice squad, nothing to really report there. Bo Scarborough had actually a really good year for the Lions last year in limited action. We just have a lot. I mean, that's what I was really surprised they signed Adrian Peterson, because Bo Scarborough did a really nice job for the Lions here. And again, this is our offensive line was terrible last year, run blocking. Although Ragnow he rated out as like the second best center, run blocking center in the league, and Graham Glasgow too, really, really good. They let Graham Glasgow walk. But overall, we just had trouble running the ball. And but Bo Scarborough came in towards the end of the year and did a really nice job. So I was surprised that he's not more in the mix, but I know they're excited to get Adrian Peterson, for better or worse. I like Adrian. I mean, he's Adrian Peterson. He's a Hall of Famer. But it was just kind of a weird fit because they already have so many running backs. But then again, we haven't had people produce, so maybe we haven't had many running backs. Injury report, again, this is based off of the default Week 1 rosters from Madden. You don't really see anything here to really write home about. One thing I can't figure out, I don't know what happened to Jamal Agnew. Did the Lions cut him? They must have cut him. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it's crazy in Madden. I know he had some key fumbles last year. I know they weren't thrilled with him. But he started to bounce back pretty nice. But I don't see Jamal Agnew anywhere. I'm just curious if... did someone grab him? Maybe somebody in the chat knows. I could just Google search it too, but I don't know what happened to Jamal Agnew. I'm just doing a quick scan. I'm sure he's going to be a Hall of Famer wherever he went. Jamal Agnew, where are you? Let me just Google search it real quick. It's going to be way easier. Jamal Agnew. No, it says he plays for the Lions. Which, I mean, is not a surprise, but he's not there. Where did he go? Or did they just cut him or something? No, his Wikipedia page says he's a Detroit Lion. He vanished. I don't know where he went. That's a bummer because he's super good. But anyway, it's game time. I don't really think there's much more else we need to cover here. I don't think there's any news about the draft just yet. No news about the draft. I purchased the Lions. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I totally would if I could. That'd be amazing. Let's see. Yeah, again, all the other settings I'm using, they're up on Operation Sports if you want to check that out. Let's jump in. Oh, man. Bears are a handful in this game. The Bears are tough. They are a tough Madden team. But I appreciate you guys checking this out. Man, it's been fun. MLB The Show franchise still going. I got 15 games left, by the way. Probably streaming that tomorrow. 15 games left out of 162. I'm so close. 2 weeks from now, it'll be the last series of the season. Oof. Yeah, J Hex says, watch out for the sneaky quarterback. Yeah, Trubisky's annoying as hell in this game. He can run. I'm so pumped for this game tomorrow, though. I can't wait. All the craziness going on in the world right now, man. It's a nice diversion. Love watching the Lions. I have trouble really. Like I said, I don't do fantasy football anymore. And I just don't really. And it's not even a political thing for me. I just have lost a lot of it. Just the NFL, just with all the CTE stuff. That was kind of my thing. Like when they started sweeping that under the rug. So it's not even, it's not even a political thing for me. It's just, I just don't know how much I trust the NFL. But I love the Lions, man. I love the Lions, period.
And of course, the loudest cheers were reserved for the hometown Lions. They're set to go as they will match up with the Chicago Bears. With my good friend Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we have arrived at another new season. Had a little more pep in my step this morning. I know you did as well. Here we go.
Yeah, when you went out for your 5-mile jog, you were flying.
I didn't talk about it, but, you know, really I think one of the keys, and I'll talk about here after the kickoff.
No more radio shows, no more podcasts, no more
couple keys on offense.
Now we get to see it.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward here. I'll wait for them to introduce Mr. Trubisky here. I wish they would show like last year's stats here or something. And I know they do that after week 1, but like that's just the immersion there is bad. Like player ratings, it's not very broadcast-like. So here's my game plan, and this is probably a good time to talk about these things. So again, red zone, we saw that man blitz. While we're on defense, a couple things. One, Mitch Trubisky is going to be a much better short thrower than deep. That doesn't mean we can just give up the deep ball. The key is Marcus Robinson II. We have to keep him under control. We cannot be bumping him. We shouldn't be bumping any of these receivers, really. They have big receivers who can do a really nice job against press coverage. So we want to make sure that we're backing off of these guys. So again, that's going to be step 1 on defense, press coverage, avoiding it. Number 2, it's really just, I don't want to overuse the blitz, even though it's part of our game plan, but we want to try to contain the run, obviously. We want Mitch Trubisky to try and beat us, but mostly through the air. So with him running, as I'm controlling a linebacker mostly, my job is I usually try to take the guy in the backfield because one is easier with the camera view. But then also if that running back stays in and blocks, I then sort of switch to a QB spy. Which I'm not great at, truthfully. I've mentioned before, but I am an average Madden player. On a good day, I'm probably playing at an above-average level. You're going to see some of that probably today, especially with Matthew Stafford. He is a really hard quarterback for me to use in Madden. So that's our plan again. It sounds very obvious, but like we want to stop the run. We want Mitch Trubisky to try and beat us with his arm. But we have to also really keep an eye on Marcus Robinson, make sure we're not bumping him. And on offense, really establishing a run game. It sounds super obvious, but their pass rush is very, very scary. They have a good corner in Fuller. They have a great safety in Adrian Amos. We just need to find ways to be efficient. So we don't have an exact game plan. I mean, I think if we look for one-on-one matchups with our big receivers, our big physical receivers in Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay, if I see matchups downfield with those guys, even against Fuller one-on-one, I'm going to try and exploit those a little bit because a lot of times that can be our best matchup. Keeping an eye on the blitz, that sort of thing. Have to get rid of the ball quickly, even if it's rolling out, throwing it out of bounds. So kind of a basic game plan. Just wanted to discuss a few of those things. The only coach adjustment I'm going to do is just cornerback matchup by depth chart, because I want to make sure that we're keeping Trufant in the slot. Although, what is the difference? I mean, isn't normal gameplay settings my depth chart? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. It's kind of weird. Sure, we'll bring a blitz on first down. Let's do it. I want to cover the running back here. Yeah, I'll switch to a spy after that. So, there we go. So,
he'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
It's a pickup of 6.
I haven't met an NFL player yet that doesn't use criticism as an edge, and Jimmy Graham has heard that a number of people think he's near the end of his career. He didn't put up the numbers he should have put up in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to put a huge chip on his shoulder. Nice catch there, and he wants to show flashes of that form that he exhibited early in his career with New Orleans and Seattle.
Oh, it'd be nice to stop these guys.
That's some good tackling there to keep him short of that yellow line.
Yeah, defensively, all I'm thinking is that on that play, get me to third down. Get me into a position where I can make one more play and get my defense off the field.
And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
Hey, made him work for it. Made him work for it.
First down, Chicago. Defense had a chance to get off the field here on the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb.
Switch to zone here.
They're always going to talk about how important third down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the others, you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
So one of the keys for me as linebacker especially is just watching their offensive line. When they fire out like that, I just try to hit one of the holes. Fill the gap that I'm responsible for. We're going to bring a blitz here because I think he's probably passing. And again, I will switch. Ooh, that was quick. I'll switch to that spy as I mentioned, but the running back flared out there, so. 3rd and 1. We'll keep blitzing, I guess. We start game playing, so.
On 3rd and 1, it's Trubisky.
Ooh. By the way, if your guy does go off the screen, you can hold down L1, and it will kind of switch him to an automatic AI controlled player. So I did that in the flat there. I just held down L1. He just fouled the fullback out. Good stop, Lions. Take it. We forced 2 third downs there, and we stopped them on 3rd and short. So not always easy on All-Madden. All right, there's Stafford's ratings.
Matthew Stafford, the veteran, former
Got some nice deep balls though. Even in practice mode, I was throwing some deep balls that were just just floating them in. But you got to make sure it's there.
Passing numbers, 40,000 yards passed in his career last year before back injury landed him on the IR after just 8 games. To show his value to the team, the Lions lost all 8 games started by either Jeff Driscoll or David Blau. They need a healthy Matthew Stafford.
DeAndre Swift. 10-yard run, his first career carry.
That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive lineman creating space.
2nd and inches. That would be a good time to call a screen. Let's try it. Now you can zoom on screens too if you want. I don't mind it. Gives you a little more room to see what's downfield.
On 2nd and very short.
Ooh, good block. Real nice block there. He would have gotten swallowed up. Good job, Lions. They're like, man, we shouldn't have drafted you. We really messed up, son. I mean, as a Lions fan, it is hilarious that the Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky that year. Hilarious. If you ever want to check out a hilarious Reddit, check out the Detroit Lions Reddit. They are the best meme. We have teams come in every single week. Our opponents, and they talk crap, but it happens every week. They're like, you guys, your meme game is so strong. It's so good. The Lions memes are amazing. And it's been off to a little bit of a slow start this year. But, pretty good stuff. Some good Mitch Trubisky memes going on right now. Ooh, Khalil Mack. Can't get around him. There's Lions draft class.
He's a 2nd-round pick, a solid 2nd-round pick. But when you're close to that 1st round, do you come in with a little chip on your shoulder?
You definitely do, because now your money's not the same. But even more than that, it's the prestige. Everyone wants to be a 1st-round pick, and he thought his talent demanded that. And I do know some teams in the league that had 1st-round grades on him.
I can't see what's going on here, but
Really, it grades out as a pretty darn good class.
I think we're running.
Hope to give a lot of credit to the entire scouting organization, general manager.
That's weird. I wouldn't show my play art. I had a play action pass called, but it looked like Mac was. Yeah, see, Mac was. Look at that blitz there on the side. That would have been not good.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here.
Galladay, you need to run to the sticks. Single coverage up top. Oh, he got it. That's a crazy catch. My dog's here. He's pumped. Here she goes. She lays on top of the couch like a cat. Ooh, Marvin Jones, man. Look at that catch. That was on Fuller, too. This is All-Madden, baby, broadcast camera. Good stuff.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10.
Almost in the Kenny Galladay territory.
They'll run on 1st down.
Ooh, Swift. The crowd sounds so good with the headphones on. It like legit sounds like sports. Like they have the timing really cool. Like when that run broke, the crowd like erupted. It almost reminds you of like when I was growing up watching Barry Sanders, and you see him get in the open field, and the crowd just like rumbles. It's so good. But made me fall in love with the Lions watching him as a kid, man, and just being like, damn. So Kenny, we have like a huge advantage here with Kenny Galladay. Not to mention they have a backup corner on him. But it's got to be open. There it is. So we have the red zone game plan, and also his quirk, or his ability of being a red zone passer in single coverage. I mean, he just schooled that guy. Look at the Lions in this drive, man. There we go. What's up, Top Guy? Yeah, the broadcast view is awesome, man. Ready to run, what's happening. Just getting, yeah, we'll accept that. What the hell? Just getting caught up in the chat here, guys. Let's see. Yeah, we probably will be picking up a quarterback soon. I mean, I think Stafford's got a, I mean, in real life, he'll play throughout his career. He'll play his contract out. He's got a few more years. Probably 3 more years with the Lions. Which is sad, man, because people, it's so weird. Like, people talk so much trash about Matthew Stafford in Detroit, and I'm sorry, like, what is wrong with your brain if you don't think if you think he's the reason the Lions are losing, like, you are clueless about football. You're clueless about football. So I will debate you all day long as I stare into this camera and tell this to anyone who wants to hate on Stafford and tell me that he's the problem with the Detroit Lions. You don't understand football at all. The dude is the only reason that they're a competitive team, probably the last 5 to 6 years at least, if not more. He's by far their best player. I shouldn't say by far, but he is their best player. He's their most valuable player by far. And I think most teams would say that about a solid quarterback. The dude just had, I mean, he's had how many, coaching changes, and there's other guys who go through this. But the point being, am I saying he's the best quarterback in the world? No. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? Probably not. But he is a top 10 in my opinion. And he is, have you not watched Lions football before this guy got here? Like, have you ever seen anyone play the position as well as he has? Did you see what the Lions did in the 8 games he didn't play last year? They lost all 8 games. He is the only reason that they are a competitive team. Period. Their defense is not good. The coaching staff's not good. Their offensive line is not good. They have some talented players on offense, for sure. But he is by far the most valuable offensive player they have. And there's my Matthew Stafford rant. The dude is instrumental in the Detroit community. He's a fantastic dude. I literally, there's something wrong with your brain if you don't think he's a good fit for the Detroit Lions as a quarterback. There's literally something wrong with your brain, and I'm sorry. So anyway, end of my rant there. And again, is he going to win? He wants to. I know it sounds like he's actually set his goal this year. Is he wants to win the MVP this year, which I think is cool. And again, people laugh about it, but like the dude, how much money does this guy make right now? Like, does he need this? No. Does he need to even be in the NFL this year with COVID? No, he doesn't. The dude is so driven. Like, that's freaking awesome. And like, I just have an enormous amount of respect for Matthew Stafford. So, so I'll defend him, man. Like I said, you want to, please come on here, debate me. Please. I would love it. Let's talk. And this whole, like, oh, he doesn't want us. What does he want? What does he want? Okay, what have you won? That's not how it works. It's like wins in baseball. And they don't mean anything. It just means your team sucks. That's all it means. A quarterback doesn't win and lose games all by himself. It's a ridiculous stat. How many playoff wins did you have? How many playoff wins do the Lions have? They have none. Correct.
They're going to start the drive here on the ground with Patterson.
See right there. So that's such a key on those run plays. You see that line fire out. Gotta fill those holes, man. On All-Madden. I mean, it's just... Gotta fill up those holes.
Run some plays, run some clock. Allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Patterson on the draw play.
So you see there, I mentioned earlier, Jamie Collins, right? The ability to fight off a block. That was a 6-yard run, but that could have been a 13-yard run.
Guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it.
We're actually going to go zone coverage here. Oh, nice. Oh, we got it, though. So you can see the size differences, right? Ooh, wow, he is short. But I like that. I like how Jimmy Graham is obviously much bigger than Justin Coleman. It stood up. It has the strength to kind of fight through this. This is a really cool little thing. It's not overdone. Like when they first introduced like the running backs falling forwards trait. We're gonna punt safe man here. When you saw that trait be introduced, it was a little bit overkill. You'd have running backs. I mean, it was kind of pointless to not have a running back who didn't have that trait. Oh, fair catch it, dude. That was my bad. Yeah, and like, hey Adam says, Lions defense is always trash. I mean, yeah, sort of. Like last year they were. It's so weird, but they have good players. Like the scheme. I'm so glad they got rid of that coordinator. What's his face? Paul. I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. Pasqualoni. Paul Pasqualoni. I mean, this dude is just out of his element, man. It's like, oh, he was a good defensive coordinator 30 years ago. Like, yeah, welcome to the modern NFL. That dude doesn't have a place.
Not just all athleticism from defensive linemen. Let's give them a little credit for their football intelligence as well.
They didn't blitz on that play. I don't like to call it play action pass on a play where previously they didn't blitz. You know what I mean? Like, I'm worried they're going to blitz this down. So I'm going to stick with the run here. Damn. One of the things I wrote in the slider thread is don't worry so much about like what penalties are always being called. Try to focus on just the number of penalties, things like that, getting the penalty yardage right. So if nothing's open here, try to just throw it away.
Now Stafford. Throwing deep for Galladay.
Single coverage. Oh, pick off. That's the matchup we wanted. It's a rookie corner on Galladay, single coverage deep. I'll throw that every time.
It looked like he tried to put a little too much air under this one, and it turned into a floater. And defensively, this is a dream. He could have fair caught that one. That was way
too bad Galladay didn't make the tackle at least, but yeah, I'll throw that every time.
Chicago offense coming back out onto the field. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all. And let's face it, every facility we visit.
You see those interceptions you live with. Those are just like, all right, hey, that dude made a nice play, man.
In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice.
Good play.
Furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
The connection made. It's Graham. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of
ways for this team. I do think they're going to run here. I'm going to call this nickel blitz. Try to pinch up the middle. See if he'll run right into that blitz. Nope. Oh, wide open. Come on, guys. Now it's starting to look like a Lions game. Interception, wide open guy in the flat, no one near him. Oh no.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first
where are we at? 14. Do I want to blitz? I'm always weird. They're going to like call screen or something after a big play.
On first down.
Ooh, gaping hole. Come on, guys.
Nice pickup of 9 yards.
So it's always the question here, right? You're inside the 5. It's like, well, you think like, well, should I switch to strip ball? What do I have to lose? What you have to lose though is 4 points, because if you can just make good defensive calls and you can maybe kind of guess right on the play prediction, you can hold them to a field goal. If you put the strip ball on, sure you might strip them, but you also have probably equal amount of time as getting a face mask penalty. Which gives them a new set of downs, which is going to just about guarantee they get 7 points this drive. So I don't like to use the strip just yet. I mean, I'm not that desperate, I guess, right? Not yet. We're not desperate enough. Don't want. He's going to run here. Nope. I thought Trubisky was going to end up scrambling, but so Bears tied on turnover.
Are an extra point away from tying the football game.
Yeah, it's funny. They own 16 team. Like, they didn't have terrible players. That was Calvin Johnson's first year, I think. Because that's the draft that led to Stafford. They got him the next year. And they had, John Kitna at quarterback. I mean, like, they had decent players. It's just, man. I remember watching that last game of the year and going like, oh my God. I think it was Green Bay they played the last week or something. It's like, oh wow, they're gonna lose every game. It was just crazy, super crazy. Oh, Bears respond. Come on, Lions. Man, if Stafford would have, that deep ball would have been completed, man, this guy would have been having a hell of a first quarter. The crowd sounded so good too when you threw that up. It didn't. Maybe it's just the headphones, but it really sounds pretty sweet. Timing is everything in a sport game. Like getting the crowd to cheer at the right time. Most games don't. There's a bit of a delay.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline,
get Stafford going here.
His first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself. But he can't.
No, slide, dummy.
Yeah, he's upended after a gain of 2.
Stafford's too tough to slide. He's like, I'm getting the 2 yards.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. They'll run here with Swift.
Oh, dude, you're right into the guy. Actually had a good block on Khalil Mack, too. Run the screen here? Let's run the screen. Yeah, they're blitzing. They're blitzing. I'll zoom out though so I can see a little bit better. Give him a block. Got it. Yeah, I got it, baby. Nice. Whew. I would run that jet sweep, but we don't have. I need to like do a formation sub, and have those been patched? I know that was a problem with this game. I didn't even check, but I can't run. Can't run a wide receiver end around with Marvin Jones or Kenny Galladay. Sorry, can't do it. Come on, carry on. Stronger than that.
Stop the former Georgia Bulldog, Roquan Smith. 3-yard pickup.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win.
Oh.
But you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
They're still about 3 yards shy of a first as the
DeAndre Swift's really fun to play with in this game. Good player, man. What do I do here? I don't really like any of those plays. I'm going to call the play action pass here. Doesn't look like they're blitzing.
Or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Stafford on third down.
Inbounds, jeez.
Drop this off to his fullback.
Oh, thank God. I hate when Madden does that. Like, runs your dude right out of bounds.
Just to pick up a 3, but that is indeed enough. Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46.
No, nothing at all. Andrew Swift, 8 carries already, though. Getting his time.
This defense is really flown around in the first half. They've gotten to the ball carrier before they can really get started. Offense going to have to come up with something else in order to try and get this running game going.
On an audible here.
On 2nd and 11 now. Stafford gets it quickly to Galladay. And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9.
3rd and 1.
Terrific catch and a big chunk of yardage gained by Kenny Galladay, and that's exactly what he does. That's why he's so dangerous downfield. Highest average yards per reception among NFC receivers in 2019 at over 18 yards per catch. He has the length and really has a nose
Damn it. Didn't get out there. I didn't mean to snap it. I actually meant to. I was going to take a timeout or call an audible. But alright, coach, what are we going to do? It's up to the coach. Like I was like, hey, check out this Bengals-Bears game. You guys watch that in the preseason? Did you guys see this? I like the little shifty, like Madden does a good job, like just like these little shifty things here, like just looking for little spots, like that's really cool. I would hope it's tied to like the ball carrier vision rating too, that'd be neat. If he wants to punt, I'm okay with that. Yeah, they didn't engage it. Damn it. Sometimes, I've mentioned before, like sometimes you can actually break open big runs on that, like if your guys can just hold that line. I don't regret it. Because if I had called a pass on that, I may have gotten crushed. So, still covered 3 here. Cover 3 will pinch the line, though.
In Southern California, the Cowboys and the Rams doing battle there. And then 2 more to finish off the week on.
Dude, what are you doing? Now see there, I was right there in the position. I hit L1 to like turn him into an AI guy just because I like it. Just seems like it wraps him up a little bit better. And dude just like ran off. That'd been a 1 yard, 2 yard game maybe.
Should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
From the 26, they'll line up on 2nd and 4. Now it's Trubisky.
Tackle him. Or just run out of bounds. Both quarterbacks are 7 of 8.
I don't think he's going to want to take a break.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end.
Uh-oh.
Bears on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. And Robinson with a big catch.
Almost took a timeout there. We had some linebackers lined up on receivers.
First catch for the Bears' leading receiver from a year ago. It's a Chicago 1st down. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They go play action. Trubisky. Got a man. It's Patterson.
Yes. I'll take it. Look at that. That's a hell of a play by Jamie Collins. Laid out the dude and got the fumble. Just like casually picked up the ball.
They become so adept though at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there are
That's an amazing play. Hell yeah, Jamie Collins.
You go through ball security drills.
Just like bam, smoked him. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you dropped your ball.
I think you should take the ball to bed with you and just hold on to it. But the bottom
That
line
was
is,
pretty awesome.
you try to protect it. These guys are pretty good at finding ways to knock it out.
Angelo, you gotta be pretty much wide open. Oops. Gotta be pretty much wide open for me there. Okay, apparently it's not letting me do this.
The 1st down carry here for Johnson. And he'll be brought down.
Can't get carry on going today.
Officially, it's a 1 yard loss. That's going to bring up
Try Adrian.
11. They went with a run-pass option, and I don't know if the option really mattered there because the defense was ready.
So many times you put the defense at a disadvantage because you have those multiple options, but when they read their keys and play it correctly, sometimes the result goes in their favor.
Woo! Nice throw, Stafford. Had to anticipate that one. Felt some pressure.
First and 10.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy.
Literally threw that before he even began his break.
For a nice pickup.
I guess I didn't have much pressure. Coverage too, but okay, that's a matchup I'll take. As long as Fuller's not on Galladay, I'll throw Galladay all day today. They only have one corner I'm worried about, Kyle Fuller. And again, if the safety's not really around to help, there's no threat. Big hole. Oh man, close right up.
Nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
Yeah, that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater. He just made a great play there.
Jeez, come on.
They go back to the ground, this time Swift. This will be a 5-yard pickup as they move it from the 20 to the 15.
Brandon, all things considered,
Sliders are playing really nice.
getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
3rd and 5. Try the old corner strike here.
They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far.
That blitz comes, I probably got to go to Johnson. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to be Galladay City up here.
From the gun, Stafford. Johnson's got it complete.
That's not what I was thinking he was going to do. That was a weird play. Galladay looked like he had some help. Coverage help. Yeah, so you can see that corner kind of slid out there, but then he picked that. I should have gone Galladay. See, I saw that corner and I was like, huh, that's weird. That guy's like, I thought he was going to be basically double teaming Galladay. So I went underneath, which I thought would be wide open, but I should just waited. There's no rush and no pressure at all. This guy was running with Galladay in a zone and he turned. Oof, man, definitely Galladay open.
17.
It happens.
2 yards.
It's on 4th down. The Lions turn it over to Matt Prater for the field goal try. From the left hash, this from 34.
34-yard attempt.
And the 13.
Caught up in the chat here.
Puts it through. And the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead.
Makes the score Lions 10, Bears 7.
So hey, Ryan's asking, hey, I know you don't like to restart MLB The Show. Yeah, I don't like to restart ever. It's just that the new rosters and stuff, it gave me a chance to kind of solidify the sliders a little bit more. It just made sense. So updated rosters, I was only a couple games into the actual franchise I had started. So yeah, just restarting it. And yeah, definitely the amount of games, as Raider said, definitely plays a role. MLB versus NFL. I mean, if you're having trouble getting through a 162-game season in baseball, it's completely understandable, and the last thing you want to be doing is like restarting games. I've probably restarted a couple. Most of the ones in MLB The Show were just weird circumstances. Like I paused the game, we had a power outage or something, and I came home and I'm like, oh shoot, the game turned off. So I've had to restart a few of them, but usually it's stuff like that. Before the snap, so Ed's saying, how do you do that? Check the beginning of this video, or there's a thread up on Operation Sports that talks about it, but I literally this video, this episode starts with me in practice mode, showing you what I'm doing and how to do it and why we're doing it and that sort of thing. So it's tricky to do during gameplay. Man, I'm pissed I missed Galladay.
These types of kicks, and no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point piece of cake, because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give them confidence and let them knock it through.
And we'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. The Chicago offense set to get started. And last time they coughed it up.
Coach Patricia's game plan has been pretty solid.
But still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though?
Oh, shoot. Nice. Look at Christian Jones. He's like, I don't care, I'm a 73 overall. I'm gonna run your ass down. Woo! Very nice. Look how bad I got burned. I'm trying to run out into the flat. I don't want to blitz again. Let's go to a zone here.
Following the sack, they'll try to change their fortune here on 2nd and 13. Now Trubisky to throw. That's complete to
I tried that big hit. I waited too long. 10 of 11 though. Come on. It's so Lions.
About the game there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take what you can get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now gives a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
No way, no way. You get Quara in there. Woo, a rookie. That's a big tackle. I'm excited to watch Julian Quara. I mean, I'm not expecting, is he going to get, throw 5 sacks as a rookie. But I mean, I'm just excited to watch his career as a Lion. It could be 2-3 years from now, but I think he'll be a good player.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now, as he's on to punt for Chicago. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away.
Okay, 2:37 left. I'm trying to put something together here.
Possession will switch hands 1st and 10.
Yeah, Ed, you're welcome, man. Thanks for checking out the stream. Appreciate it. Happy opening NFL weekend. Whatever that means for you. I'm excited. It's like one of the rare times I force my wife to sit down and watch sports with me. I'm like, we're watching the Lions. Sit down. No, she's a fan. It's weird. Too crazy. Well, I'll tell you guys at halftime. A couple crazy stories with that. We're just running the ball, right? Whoops. Stafford, what are you doing out here? I don't know where this is going. Let's just run.
On the ground, it's Swift to start the drive. They'll scratch out only about a yard after the 32.
We get the ball at the half. Let's try another screen, sure.
Not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
Let me zoom in a little bit.
On 2nd and 9, Stafford.
Dude, one guy blocked. Go, 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 go. I tried to lower the head on Khalil Mack there. Didn't work out that well. So the quick story I was going to say, a couple funny things. So my wife, before I met my wife, my wife's from Salt Lake City. So totally random. I met her when I lived in Chicago. Lions fan though. I have no idea how or what. Well, the reason is, so she became she's kind of a passive NFL fan, doesn't really care that much. But she's like, no, I just saw that they went 0-16, and I was like, oh, that's really sad. I feel bad for them. So she became a Lions fan, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Even crazier, my lucky number has always been 47 for whatever reason. I don't know if it's from Jack Morris. I don't know where I got it from. I just always 47. Same thing her. I met her, literally her email had 47 in it, and I'm like, whoa, that's so weird. What is the mathematical odds of us having the same lucky number? It's just a very strange thing. So, I don't know how that exactly ties into, so she is a bit of a Lions fan, I guess is what I was trying to say. We're going to call that same play that we messed up the last time. Damn it, I'm not going to let that slot corner fuck with me. Now it's oh, dude. This is so Lions. Just giving them enough time to come down the field. Not cool. Jeff Okudah on the coverage. Probably his first NFL tackle.
And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Bears now ready to take over.
Talcat, I don't switch very often. Once in a while, if I see a ball where I'm like, oh god, I made a bad throw, and I just want to have an aggressive catch, because sometimes that'll maybe lead to an incomplete, something like that. On defense, I don't like to switch. If I do, it's usually accidentally. Yeah, I don't. It's just again me trying to play realistic as I can in franchise mode. I can't see what I'm doing. Get him. Get him.
This will be a short
I want Trubisky doing that crap.
You can almost feel Trubisky saying, let's get to the line.
Jeez.
Quick hitter here, it's complete. And
Timeout, Bears. Killing me.
8-yard line. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. And they get him down, but not before he takes
Their guy catches it.
40-yard line. Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. They'll throw on first down with Trubisky.
Ooh, good play.
Complete pass. Trubisky's pass.
Jimmy Collins having a good first half.
Here now is 2nd and 10, again from the 41.
Wish you could pump up the crowd. Like, Ford Field will be so loud right now. Come on.
To throw again, Trubisky. And he'll complete this one to Patterson. And he's going to be out of bounds.
They're pumping in crowd noise, right, for these games, and I've said that certain teams, like, they should base it on the actual decibel level of your stadium. So, like, they should get to make Ford Field louder than, like, Arrowhead Stadium or something like that. I don't care if that's a homerism or not. I know it's because it's a dome, but still. I don't know what they're going to do here.
First, but it did not, and they'll try to convert on 3rd and inches. From midfield now, here's Trubisky.
Oh, he got it. This is such a Lions play. That's same old Lions right there. If you guys were wondering why this is called same old Lions, that's it right there. A 3rd down, 3-point lead, gotta get a big stop. The Lions get it. They get pressure to the quarterback. The dude still catches it. Gets 2 huge blocks. Runs for a first. I mean, the only difference is in real life, like, we'd have got a face mask right here. Put him in field goal range unequivocally.
As they'll stop it with just over 30 seconds
Lions.
to go in the first half. So from the 36
And, like,
now,
we will somehow go into halftime trailing. I mean, you know, that's just how it goes for the Lions.
Throwing once more, it's Trubisky. Robinson's got it. And brought down.
One timeout. Probably holding a field goal here.
Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
Back up, guys. Come on.
Looking to throw Trubisky on first down.
Oh, I tried to hit his ass. Are you going to take it now? No, we're going to go for it.
Timeout as they stop it with 11 seconds remaining in this first half. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1.
Wow. They're not going to have time to kick it. Yeah, eat it, Bears. Eat it, Bears. All right, now Madden is not realistic. Because the Lions would have given up a touchdown in that situation in real life. Or the NFL would have, like, thrown a flag. There's no way we would have gotten out of that with 0 points. The NFL would have...
Thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We'll begin up at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And those two are tied up as they play the second quarter. From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And they currently trail the visiting Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz has thrown a couple of touchdown passes there. Finally, we're off to Atlanta. Check on the Falcons at home at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And you can see they have the lead over the visiting Seahawks. Matt Ryan has a touchdown pass.
Yeah, thanks, Raider. Top cat, I saw your question. Raider answered it.
Defensive struggle. Which offense can break through in
no, I mean, minutes are just going to impact stats, right?
To our broadcast team
number of plays called, number of penalties. So that doesn't impact, but like not, it doesn't. None of that stuff, guys. There's no like. There's this whole thing about like, you know, main menu sliders need to be set. That's complete garbage. It's not true at all. I've had confirmation from EA Sports on that. So that stuff, it doesn't work like that. Penalty sliders aren't impacting gameplay. It's just not how it works. They impact the game. It might seem like they're impacting things, but they don't. Like offside slider isn't impacting your run blocking. It's not. Just don't get lost in that nonsense.
Talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters, as I also like to call them. You've done things things in a certain way in the
Got a
first
blitz
half,
coming.
and they've had ability to see what you've done.
Can we run away from it? Is the question.
So guess what? You adjust yourself
nope.
and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking
Carry
for
on,
some
man.
separation in
Not your day today.
Adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something
Try a little
else.
flood.
The opening play of the drive
Full map over here.
now they'll come
So do I
up
still
on
have a bailout if I
2nd
have
and
X block? I don't. So he's going to chip him at least.
A shotgun snap for Stafford. He'll get this one to Galladay.
Galladay is just going to eat that up, man. They got to switch their coverage. Although they pick it off, but again, I'll make that throw every time.
The guy proving his worth in different ways. Had the big play in the run game to play before. This time, they go right back to him in the passing game, and he comes through with yet another big play. That's why you work out so hard in the offseason, so you can stay on the field and accumulate big plays.
Oh, DeAndre Swift. Shifty getting through there. See the difference? Like him versus Carry-On today. It's just not even... Man, I'm going to keep trying to give Carry-On some touches to get him going, but...
Doing their job, and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So
good tackle. First down, though. Take it.
You've got to hit the jackpot there.
2 yards, good enough for a first.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. There goes a deep ball, end zone.
Woo! And he got it, baby. That was a hell of a throw by Stafford. You don't think you can throw long on broadcast? On All-Madden. Oh, you can. That crowd's not even reacting, and they're like, oh, that's a nice catch. Oh, that was a good play by that young man. That should be Galladay's 2nd touchdown today. Man, that was a sick play. I gotta look at that replay. I saw that developing, and I was worried about them blitzing on the side, but they did not, luckily. So, I mean, I was just sat there, and I literally, you have to make this throw kind of blind. So I watched the safeties at the beginning, and I know, okay, the safeties are staying up. And I see Galladay break, so I see it, like I can see that much. I think that's about when he went off screen for me. But I knew, I'm like, he has that guy beat, man. If I just lay that out there, so I just let it. Just a really nice lead. And as I mentioned pregame, I mean, Stafford, this is with accuracy lower than this is. I think accuracy's at 40. I mean, that is just a pretty effing throw by Matthew Stafford. That is a pretty throw, man. I mean, that ball just dropped in there. Whew. Oh, man, that's pretty. That is a nice play.
When you're in the right spot, you're draped on the guy catching the ball, yet he still comes down with it.
Raider, that's a good way of putting it. Tinfoil hat theories. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to I'm not calling anybody out. This isn't a reference. I don't even look at other people's slider threads. I looked at one this year, just to kind of get an idea of some of the things that they're doing for an online league. But I purposely try to stay out of them just because it can be a lot of noise. And I don't mean disrespectful noise. I mean, like, I'm trying to focus on what I'm seeing and experiencing in the game. And if I start reading kind of down someone else's rabbit hole, and I'm admitting mine are rabbit holes too, you can just it's a lot of noise, right? But yeah, like the tinfoil hat theories are interesting. It's just people just chase stuff, man. Like right there, I mean, I haven't touched my main menu settings. They're whatever default is. I don't know. I don't touch them. Are you telling me there's something wrong with the gameplay you're seeing here, other than maybe the Lions are winning?
So here are the Bears now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. And their halftime hold now even deeper. And they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown.
All right, 10-point lead for the Lions.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger. But no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing.
So that play there, I did not make the play, right? Let me show you guys. Just, again, it's just... And I make the assumption, I'm not a football aficionado, but I mean, I know enough. But this play here, so like, I'm controlling Tavai. And again, just, sometimes it's important to talk about some of the basic stuff. So this is a run play. So I'm sitting here, I'm in a zone. So I'm watching and I'm like, okay, he's got the ball. Now, I can sit here and say, oh gosh, that blocker is going to get me. Maybe I should backpedal. But if I backpedal, all that's going to do is let him block me here. And then it frees everything up. Now, so I know I'm probably not going to make this play, but damn it, I'm going to fill this hole. And this is my assignment, right? So I fill this hole. It at least sucks up his blocker. It makes the running back have to bounce outside. And luckily, Desmond Trufant does a great job of coming off his assignment, reading it, and makes the play a one-on-one open field tackle. So, but that play is literally set up because of filling the proper gap. If I tried to go like, oh, he's going to bounce it to the outside, and I tried to make that, you're just going to have two dudes standing over here doing nothing, and this guy running up the middle with a lead blocker. And look at who's the next guy who's going to touch him. The blocker's going to probably hit him. I mean, this is a 15 or 12-yard run by not filling the assignment. So you don't have to just run. It's kind of like when you teach little kids when you're playing soccer, right? You're like, don't just run to the ball. Like you need to run. You need to know your assignment. It's the same kind of thing. Ooh, nice play. Nice play. Like something stuck in my tooth. It's driving me crazy. 3rd and 9. Oh.
They have to start getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Throw it to the guys that maybe can take a short pass and turn it into a long gain or make people miss downfield. They've got to have points. And the guys who can put the ball in the end zone.
Ooh. There's Flowers. Oh, it's Okuda. Ooh, Jeff Okuda. Man, Lions defense playing today. It's funny, in all my practice games, they never played this well, so I'm kind of excited. It's like, oh, good, we can actually play well. But I think momentum has something to do with that. We've been running the ball pretty efficiently. Stafford and Galladay have been playing well. Galladay should have 2 touchdowns, though. I'm still pissed about that. Incomplete. And that interception, honestly, I think, man, that's a play Galladay makes most of the time, but I'm glad he's with them every time, right? Man, nothing there. That's not a bad debut. You guys see DeAndre Swift's dad at the draft? Amazing. If you don't remember, he was like the guy, like they showed like this guy's dad like working out, and the dude is massive. Like of course that Lions Reddit channel I was talking about earlier, like they were just like, we need to use our 4th round pick on his dad. It's pretty amazing stuff. Like his dad is a monster. Absolute monster of a dude. Woo! Andre. Running like a college football running back still. Boy, it helps.
Happy for the Detroit Lions to get DeAndre Swift in the 2nd round. Felt bad for the young man because I thought he was the best running back in the draft, and he lasted until
all right, carry on. I'm just keep giving him some touches here. Come on, dude.
Devalued, but people aren't going to take them quite as high right now, and he's in that cycle. But I think the Lions really benefited. This guy
can
cut, burst, run with power, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I really like him.
Adrian Peterson's in the game here.
2nd and 5.
From the 44, Stafford. That's complete to DeAndre Swift out of the backfield.
Felt pressure. I don't know if it was there or not.
And that'll make it 3rd down.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it could...
I'll actually look at that replay really quick. I felt pressure. It's like I didn't have any pressure. I just felt it on the left there. Oh, yeah, they had safety. These are all pretty much deep routes. I had over the middle right there. Definitely had that. Oh, and I had the other flat open too. Well, maybe not though. They just close so fast. Like that seems like an open play, right? Like you think you just catch that and run and at least get to the 40. That's one of the only kind of quirky things. And I know there's like the run after catch, but I wish they would utilize that a little more automatically. But he might not have that trait. Maybe that's just not his strong suit. Adrian Peterson was over there, but yeah, really underneath here at Amendola was the play. We're going to try to catch these guys, though, on 3rd and short.
What a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
3rd and 2, Stafford.
Dude. Hear all the Stafford haters? Oh, he's terrible.
An opportunity miss there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point, and they like some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them.
They'd have him wide open, though.
On that play.
Get on my way. Oh.
Great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line. And for an offense that is struggling, this is not where you start from. Great punt.
Yes, Top Cat's downloading the game right now. Awesome, man. Dude, practice. If you're going to use this camera mode, though, like, don't just jump into a franchise. You're going to get frustrated. It takes some practice. I practiced on and off. I mean, not for, like, hours or anything, but I mean, I was practicing probably a few weeks. You know, just here and there. Just sit down for 15 minutes kind of thing. Oh, no.
Now Trubisky.
Oh, that literally hit my dude in the mask.
Allen Robinson, the intended receiver. At 2nd down. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense.
Jeez.
Kept them in it.
That's a bad play, I mean.
And that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. 1st down, here's the run to Montgomery.
Now that's weird. I used the L1, you know, the auto button or whatever it's called. And my guy just crashed into the wrong spot entirely. Definitely got caught inside.
Second-year runner out of Iowa State, David Montgomery, who often finishes his runs moving forward and knocking defenders back. He finished tied with Josh Jacobs for most carries
back off him
last year. But what the Bears need from him, improve on his 3.7 yards per attempt. If he gets that up into the 4s,
Bears haven't been playing bad. They just haven't converted 3rd downs.
Brings up 2nd and 7.
Once more, they turn to Patterson. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. They had 3 yards.
Nice buy, nice play.
Just 1 yard there.
It's a tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't
3rd
get a
and
whole lot
6.
better there.
We're going to do a complete drop of guys here.
Need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Here's Trubisky to throw.
Oh, damn it. I was trying to stick with him, and he got deeper than I realized. Damn.
Give him 22 there on the 3rd down conversion.
And the Bears.
I didn't drop deep enough.
Do pay off, don't they? What did the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him old reliable.
Yeah, that means he doesn't move quite as fast as he used to, but he still knows all the tricks, doesn't he? Even that little gentle push off in order to get open. He finds a way to pick up a 1st down.
On 1st down, Trubisky stepping up.
No.
He's keep it.
No.
20 before he's brought down.
Brutal.
I guess no need to force it when you can do that instead. 1st down, 18-yard
He's putting the drive together now.
As a quarterback, sometimes you just got to know when the clock has gone off in your head, it's time to go. Tuck it and get all you can.
From the red zone now, here's Trubisky on 1st down.
Are you kidding me?
He's got it. And stopped
What a
few
catch.
yards shy of the goal line at the 3.
Man, they had the defense there.
Strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards.
Whew.
2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit them, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. They'll run forward Montgomery.
Oh, walk right in.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Bears have cut it to within a score. People always talk about one of his biggest strengths running the football, vision, and he found the spot there, went into the end zone.
You're exactly right about that. It wasn't just the vision, right? Once he saw the gap, decisiveness, made up his mind, and about the power to finish the play. Not only did he get good blocking, he created his own space as well.
Extra point splits the up.
94-yard drive. Wow. Yeah, they really stopped that drive.
17-14. Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off. Now Amendola.
I mentioned in the previous stream, but the previous series that we're removing basically, but I let the AI handle kick returns. It's just, can't really see what you're doing. The angle's really bad. Punt returns, 50-50. You can probably handle them yourself if you want, but kick returns, that's fine. Or you just, it's very, very blind running.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this? But it's usually not by himself, is it? Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
First and 10, Stafford.
Ooh, it was his stone. I knew Stafford had single covered, or Galladay, so I said, hey.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have.
Again, I'll take it every time.
Snap, he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
Ooh.
Threw everything off. It brings up third.
Jones, incomplete.
Speed is the name of the game when it comes to RPOs, and sometimes you can be a little too quick, thus inaccurate, incomplete.
Throwing on third down, Stafford.
This Kenny Galladay is just open all day, man.
Just short of 45 at the 44.
Our line is doing a great job.
Third quarter, another catch, and it's good for a first down.
Oh, that was a pretty route right there because
I can't cover him.
it's about finding a window on a route like that. He lined up on his left, ran the deep in route over the middle, and the ball was right where it needed to be. Really good trust between quarterback and receiver. Really good completion.
Eddie Jackson with a tackle. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7.
At the 47-yard line.
Stafford going to give it to Swift. He'll get 3 up to midfield.
DeAndre Swift, the ball carrier. He was taken down at the 50-yard line. It's a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd and 4.
From the 50 at Stanford. It's caught. Jones.
That Marvin Jones is the first catch the whole game.
Stafford to Jones, enough for a Lion first down.
Second catch, but 52 yards.
Marvin Jones makes big plays downfield. Ended up missing the last month of the 2019 season. Still had 62 catches for nearly 800
Ran back like 10 yards, but whatever.
9
That's first.
touchdown catches included in that number. Marvin Jones goes downfield for a pass.
On pitches, I like to also do the little zoom trick. Just allows you to see kind of the guys coming downfield.
They'll run on first down.
Ooh, good grief. Nothing there.
Down, losing yardage back at the 40. 2 yards the loss.
Yeah, he's pretty fast. Cool, man.
It's a loss of 2. Brings
I got
up
Marvin
2nd
Jones
and
play
12.
again. He's
At the
a good
Bears'
player.
40-yard line.
Fourth quarter. Lions with a lead. It could be a successful week 1, or it's going to be a collapsing disappointment.
Second and 12.
It's from the left here.
Now Stafford gets it quickly to Galladay. That one 12 yards. And that'll bring up what looks to be a 3rd and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long.
Tough call here.
No different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Here's a quick throw out.
Damn, that was stupid. Jeez.
That sets up the 1st and goal. That time the conversion comes courtesy.
Thinking about you can clock a little bit, but obviously we want to score here.
It moved the sticks. Nice pickup on 3rd down. Even better decision.
So not quite a 1st and goal. It's 1st and 10 from the 10. Here's Swift.
First touchdown. Good block.
Swift with his 1st career touchdown in his 1st career game. And the Lions are able to extend their lead. And a nice little start to the career for the rookie here, hitting the end zone in week 1 of his career.
And that's a true welcome to the NFL moment, isn't it? The one that you actually like. A lot of times is that big hit from a linebacker that says, all right, Rook, here you are.
Yeah, the throw of the sack's nice too, and it really helps with stats too. Because what I like is like it doesn't just suction into an interception every time. It's usually just here's one thing that they need to pass though: the running of the kicker. There's no slider for it; it's just on or off. I leave it on because it at least helps get more penalty yardage in the game. So again, when you look at like your team stats over the course of the season, it's going to help. But yeah, they call it all the time, and it doesn't really matter too much on a kickoff. But you can try to sky kick it a little bit and pin them. So a little arc, sky kick, and still too deep.
Take it in the end zone. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. And now the Bears.
Yeah, it's just, hey, but the biggest thing I've seen, I remember last year the kick meter didn't work for like 2 months. It's ridiculous. You're like playing an online league, have a great game, and to come down to like a kicker, you're like, I don't have a kick meter. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I won and lost games like that. Like, neither one was fun. It's just like, that's such garbage. Oh, I was trying to give him a fumble.
He'll get 10 there all on his own, but it'll be 2nd down.
And we have to give credit to him.
It's like I'm trying to spy him, but like he's just so fast, or my linebackers are just so slow.
Instead, he was coated in Teflon and got away.
Nope. Yep. Oh, fumble. It's a cover sack there.
So possession still theirs, but now they face a 3rd down. Out of the gun, Trubisky.
Woo! Getting to him now. Oh no, Flowers got hurt. That's not good.
Still down on the field. Oh, hate to see this. Week 1 of the season. We'll be back.
Man, Lions defense is getting after it today.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now, as he's on for the 5th time here today.
It feels very real. Like, this game feels real. And I'm trying to be honest about it because, again, I'm winning, so, of course, it's way more fun. But, like, I mean, we'll look at stats post-game. I mean, just to make sure. And a one-game sample size doesn't even tell us anything. I don't care if it's 49-0 or if it's 20-23. There's not a whole lot you can draw out of just one week, right? One game. But you can start to look for things that are like, ooh, that's clearly something going on here. Now we're kind of in some cheap clock mode a little bit. So first downs are most important here. There's no reason to rush him back.
Brandon, I gotta think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces, and I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations.
Hawkinson, you're going to stay in block. Galladay, you're probably going to score a touchdown on this play.
Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Nope, he's not. Oh. Safety was over the middle there, so definitely no Galladay on that play. Big play for them. I thought I had time to get that out to Jones, and I probably had the running back too. Oh yeah, running back was wide open, but I just didn't have time to get the throw off. It's a good blitz. I threw to the most covered dude, really. That's stupid. I had two guys wide open over there. Either way, though, I don't think I was getting a throw off. It's a good blitz. 3rd and 7. Another in route for Galladay. Could be open here.
They're hitting at 60%, 6 out of 10 thus far. This is 3rd and 7.
Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do that. Such a play. Running back, you block.
From the gun, here's Stafford.
Oh, jeez, what a catch. That's not where I meant to throw it. I wanted to lead him out a little bit more into the flat. Or to the sideline, but jeez.
For a rookie receiver to adjust to the NFL. I think the same is true for tight ends. You're asking them to do a lot in the NFL game with the
oh, look at that replay, actually. That was weird. Huh. So Galladay had, again, a lot of green, which is kind of what I like to look for. Like, who's going to be running into the open parts of the field. And that was a contested catch for sure. It was a nice catch by him. See, I wanted him to kind of lob it out here, but again, that maybe that would have been problematic with the safety. So, yeah, whatever. It's first down lines.
Didn't have to do in college. And T.J. Hawkinson, he was a number 8 overall pick in 2019 and had a good rookie season with 32 catches.
A little easier to see on these outside runs, so I'll let it zoom in a little bit, and you can hit it. So now you can see where you're going. There's Kerryon Johnson, finally. Finally gets a run.
Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue.
Well, it sure helps when you can run.
Lead things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
I covered it.
James has got it. Complete. That catch good for only a couple.
That's a nice throw out there to the flat, but they defended that pretty well. The hope is to go ahead and put it on him so he can turn and get upfield and gain additional yardage. There just wasn't anywhere to go on that play.
Here's a handoff to Swift.
Should have done Galladay there.
No gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like even if he had opted to keep that, I don't think there was.
All right, Galladay, looking deep.
It seemed like it was perfectly defense. And know what they say? Those guys on the other side, they get paid too.
On 3rd down, Stafford.
Oh yeah, too tight of a window. That wasn't a good throw.
Normally being a big-bodied receiver.
Probably had Galladay. I always feel bad sometimes, like spamming a guy a little bit too much. Even when the matchup's there, maybe I shouldn't feel bad about that. That safety was over there. Actually, yeah, Galladay wasn't open. I mean, that would have been a tight window with the safety. So again, I saw that green kind of opening up, right? And it's funny, the weird thing about Madden sometimes is what you envision, and then when you go to throw it, like I wanted him to kind of like lob it, kind of drop it into like this area and let him run under it. It doesn't always work out. I should have just gone underneath here. Yeah, that wasn't a good throw. That would at least got us into field goal range. So, yeah, still learning. I guess we are in pretty good field goal range.
But in this case, the hit was timed really well and popped it free from his grasp.
That's on target, but it's no
Ooh,
good.
see? That cost us 3 points.
Just shy of the crossbar, and this score will stay right where it is.
Just missed.
Now, Charles, all things considered, I guess that's not a critical miss at this stage, is it?
No, but still everything helps when you're trying to finish off a ball game. And you're right, not critical in terms of the scoreboard and the team, but the guy with the golden foot.
Oh, picked that off Tracy Walker.
Picked by Tracy Walker. And they're going to
Nice.
at the
Take it. I thought Time Trubisky showed up.
If they had designs of kind of wiggling their way back into this one, that hurts their chances right there.
They had to put it mildly. We look at the lead, look at the deficit, trying to make a play downfield. Everyone seeking
a decent day for Stafford against the Bears. I mean, their defense, no joke.
You're exactly right. It's going to take a lot for them to have a chance to win this one now.
Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at the 40. On the handoff, this is Swift.
I love DeAndre Swift in this game. He's just so fun to run with. It's like really shifty and just feels good.
They've got the advantage. They've got the football. But they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. And he's going to ball his way forward to the 48. Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2.
3rd and 2. We're throwing it out, man. Forget it. Let's see if anything opens up. I actually want to create an underneath route here. Come on, don't do this.
Stafford with a play fake to Swift, and he's set to throw.
I had plenty of time. I was just waiting for it to develop. I wasn't comfortable with anything I saw downfield. Like at this point in the game, again, if it's not like 100% single coverage. Well, I had single on Galladay with the safety. But again, isn't that Amos over there? I forget what number he is. Oh no, that was the corner. I went with him. Okay, I see. Well, I wouldn't have had time. I mean, I wouldn't have thrown it. I don't know. It would have been a toss-up at best. So he sprung open. Just as I was hoping, I just tried to throw it out there into the open area, but just couldn't get to it. Who else was open? I mean, again, for a moment, but like, that's open in real life, but is that open in Madden? That's scary, right? I mean, how high can this guy jump? How quick can this guy react? Especially in All-Madden. So, like, I don't know. Those seam throws are always really scary for me. The big thing there is just not turning the ball over. But yeah, we didn't do a whole lot there.
As he'll come on to kick this one away.
What are you waiting for?
33 yards is the distance on the punt there.
Yes, and the injuries are much better. You get players who are hurt away from the ball. That's huge improvement. Hopefully it's not broken on the PS5.
But it's also tough to do when you're trying to avoid errors, yet still play perfect football.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw.
Get him. What are you waiting for?
And he's got it past the 30.
Buddha, you're cut. We don't need you.
Make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down.
I'm a defender, but I've got
this much
imagination there. Moving around, making it happen, and instead of worrying about protecting himself, he goes and gets the first down.
Sure, we'll do
give it to him on that one.
Normally, you
contain only because they consider it a game plan.
It's winning time here in the fourth quarter. If he needs to make those plays with the legs, go ahead, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. At this stage of the game, all protections, they're off.
The result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down.
It's a game
ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2.
At the 41-yard line.
A shotgun handoff to Patterson. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on second and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right. They did pick up the first down there, but they, as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game.
Nice play. There's a Kuda. First pass breakup.
He was trying to find Anthony Miller there, and that'll bring up second down. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Oops. So there's where I actually switched. Happens sometimes.
Another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions 42. 11 yards there. First down.
Just kind of playing a bend but don't break defense at this point. I mean, it's not my favorite strategy, but I mean, 10-point lead.
42-yard line. Trubisky's throw pulled in by Robinson. That'll be a pickup of 10 as they try to recover from this 10-point deficit.
Always thought Allen Robinson was a high flyer from his days at Penn State, and none of that has changed with the Chicago Bears. If you throw the ball out to the perimeter, if it's a 50-50 ball, more times than not, he's going to come down with it. And some say he was the victim of some subpar quarterback.
Oh my gosh, look at that catch.
Didn't let that bother him at all. Stud 98
bunches?
catches and over 1,000 yards receiving. Allen Robinson just goes out and plays hard each and every week.
First down, Chicago.
On 1st and 10, it's Trubisky.
Oh, our second forced fumble.
And big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Fumble on the play. Recovered.
Brandon, I don't want to violate any of our broadcasting
Take it.
rules by declaring a game over before it's over. But
That's ridiculous. I don't understand how that is a forced fumble, but maybe Madden still needs to tune that down a little bit. The first one seemed pretty good because the guy was like bobbling a little bit, turned around, and I just smacked him, but that was a little bit weak. But if you if you kick up the fumble slider, I mean, you just start seeing none of them. So
they'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground.
it's been a warning.
He's taken down at the 23.
Made by Robert Quinn.
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports.
At the 23-yard line.
So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. And not too much going there as he'll get it up to the 23-yard line. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I have QB accuracy at 40 right now. We are gonna do the X dig here.
This is a big 3rd down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop him here.
The Gallagher's in the open. Oh, dude, that's good coverage that time. Good coverage. I thought he was going to be wide open on that. And again, I'm not trying to spam. I'm letting the coach call the plays, and just thinking about the situation and whatnot. Like, I didn't want to throw it downfield necessarily. I didn't even want to make that throw. I'd love to not fair catch. But I didn't want to just heave something. And I was very ready to just throw it to the running back on that to keep the clock running. But when I saw at the snap, I mean, the middle just opened up, and I thought for sure he'd have a good break on that. But it's all right. I don't mind incompletes when I'm like, you know what, I would make that exact same throw again.
Here's Trubisky. He completes this into the hands of Miller. Able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. That'll be a pickup of 10.
I don't know what I'm doing on this play. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm new to the team. Got a little lost there and hurry up. Let's just worry about calling audibles.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield.
Dude, put your arms up. I put my arms up there. Frustrated.
It's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 34-yard line. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
Lions, what are you doing? There we go. The Lions game now. It's like we weren't converting, we weren't scoring. They're going to get the onside kick, and they'll win 27 or 28-24. Come on, guys, that's ridiculous.
You got a 1-score game now.
dog is pissing me off right too.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all. And that's when you put your leapers and your flyers on one side, get that high hop.
What's wrong with the real life roster? They seem fine. You don't need perfect rosters. Just start playing. Come on. Who cares? It's 16 games you're going to be in the off season. You're not going to care about what the opening day rosters look like if they're perfect. Oops, what am I doing? I called the wrong kick return. Not paying attention. Fighting with people in the chat. Seriously, don't let them get this. Just pull down, pull down. I don't know how to pull down in Madden. I forget. Alright. We can't quite run out the clock. But I do want to make sure he holds on to the ball. Let me protect that ball. I'd rather give it to carry on here. He's a little bit better hands. I don't care if you gain a yard. You probably have to end up punting back to them, but hopefully there won't be any time left at that point.
Now the Bears going to use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds left to go in the game. 2nd and 12 now at the 44-yard line. Again, it's Johnson.
Jeez, nothing, huh? Can't get anything?
Take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. Now the Bears will use their 3rd and final timeout. As the
Can't do a
clock shows
QB kneel.
50 seconds to play here in quarter number 4.
Still giving it to carry on. I just don't want to fumble.
As they come up now,
Fumble stops the clock. There are all kinds of problems. But just run around, carry on. I don't even care if you get negative 10 yards. There you go. Just stay up. There you go. So now we can pretty much punt it out of bounds. I mean, there may be a second left or something, maybe.
4-yard gain. It's 4th down.
Well, we gotta make sure we protect the punt, too. They block the punt. I mean, this would, again, perfect lines game. Where's max protect? Isn't there like a max protect punt or something? No?
Here comes the Lions punter now.
I'm just going to take a delayed game. I mean, I don't give a damn about field position at this point for a punt. We're just going to kick it right through the end zone. I don't trust the Lions. I don't even trust the virtual Lions. Doing everything I can to secure this win. A punt doesn't hang up there for 6 seconds, so they will have a play. Either a punt return or a play. Can I squib this punt? Alright. Accident. God, he got it. There we go. Game over.
So this one's over. It's a win for the Detroit Lions. And with that, our journey begins, Charles.
Yeah, I could have thrown a pass there. That's a good idea. But with Khalil Mack on the field, man, sack, fumble, like, I don't know. No way. In real life, I would. In Madden, I don't know. I don't trust my punter. Look at the ups on Marvin Jones.
So for Detroit, it wasn't always pretty, but they do eke out the Week 1 victory here by a field goal. And they will hit the road next week for a date.
I don't understand how it just freezes. Like, I'm playing a real life roster franchise right now. I don't quite get that.
They will be at home next week to take on the New York Giants.
I believe you guys, though. I mean, yeah, people are talking about it. That's crazy. I don't understand how it hasn't happened to me. Yeah, Raider, and that's a good idea, though. Just throwing the ball out of bounds and that. But I truly don't like Stafford's traits. If he's under pressure, like it would have warped him to an interception. Like I don't trust it. God, still had 80% completion. Let's look at the stats though. So You guys tell me. I mean, this is using version 1.1, which I updated this morning on Operation Sports. The Bears actually outgained us. A lot of it was kind of just, garbage that last drive. We didn't have like an explosive. It felt like we did, but we really just tried to tighten it up a little bit. Just did not want to start turning the ball over when we built up a lead. So we didn't go too crazy. But we were able to break 100 yards rushing, which is nice. They did too. So they had a nice offense. I mean, I think third downs, they were actually better than us on third downs. They were really bad, though, I believe, in the first half. Of course, turnovers really hurt them. 2 fumbles and a pick. Let's see. Penalties, terrible. It's just, some games I'm getting really good results with penalties. I mean, that's a Madden problem more than a slider problem. It's kind of like walks in MLB The Show. It's very difficult to get. Let's check out the Bears stats here. Trubisky played really well, actually. 305 yards, 80%, 2 touchdowns, had a pick. They ran the ball pretty well, nothing crazy. Trubisky really started to take off a lot more in the second half. He had a fumble too, but they recovered it. Let's see. Yeah, Cordell Patterson did well. Montgomery ran really well, had their rushing touchdown. Jimmy Graham, consistent day with 8 catches. Patterson, 6 catches out of the backfield. Our game plan worked pretty well. I mean, I think holding him to 12.4 yards per catch, 62 yards, that to me is a win, honestly. I mean, I think any other time you'd say, hey, 62 yards, that's a pretty good game. But for him, I take that as a win. Ted Ginn played pretty well today. 3 catches, almost 20 yards per catch, had 2 touchdowns. That's a nice game. Their offensive line just did not perform as well as ours. I think that was one of the big things there, is they couldn't handle the pass rush, and we didn't bring a whole lot of pass rush, but 2 sacks allowed by these guys, but we were in his face quite a bit. Let's start by switching over to the Lions defense at this point, and kind of see what those sacks look like. So we had 3 sacks. Okudah, we had 2 rookies with sacks. Julian Okwara, Jeff Okudah on a blitz, and Christian Jones, who kind of came in like on a run stop, but on a play action pass kind of cleaned it up. So we got a little bit burnt, but it worked out in him getting his first sack of the season. But I'm really excited. I mentioned pre-stream, or I should say pre-game during the stream, that I wanted to get Julian Okwara in on some pass rushes, so that was cool to see him get in the action there. Interceptions, of course, we had Tracy Walker with 1. Total tackles, Jamie Collins, who's around the ball. Jeff Okudah around the ball. So again, really distributed tackles pretty well. Jamie Collins far and away our best linebacker, so he had a good game. Passes defended, he also had 2. Tavai didn't get credit for the one that hit him in the face mask. Come on. Okudah, Tracy Walker. So yeah, overall, pretty good game there. Let's look at the Bears defense and we'll look at the Lions offense. So Buster Scrine made I thought he was a rookie. Why did I think he was a rookie? Their other corner's a rookie, right? I know they have a rookie corner somewhere. Where's he at? Here he is, Jalen Johnson. So Jalen Johnson didn't look like he got much action there, but Scrines had a really nice pick early in the game. It was single coverage up the sideline, threw a deep ball, which I would throw every time again to Kenny Golladay in that situation, one-on-one against a 70-something cornerback. But he came down with a huge pick and had a really nice return. Also had a pass breakup, as did Eddie Jackson. Let's see. Why do I think they don't have what's his face anymore? I mean, that's right, he's with the Packers. I keep thinking that I got their safeties mixed up. What's his face? Amos. But anyway, Eddie Jackson is the safety I was worried about most of the game. So luckily we stayed away from him pretty successfully, because if he dropped back and I was looking at a route there, I pretty much was like, nope, not going to go there. And then just try to look around kind of secondary options, which we did quite a bit today. Their leading tackler, Roquan Smith, with 10 tackles. Hicks really playing a lot on the inside at 352 pounds, had a nice day. Mack, 8 tackles. But look at this. I mean, this is all Madden. This is with pass blocking lower than default, and Khalil Mack had 0 sacks. So again, really trying to strive for realism. Not that Khalil Mack should have 0 sacks every week, but the fact is, like, it's possible. And I didn't do a whole lot of them. I didn't shift my line I shifted to maybe 2 or 3 blitzes the entire game. I think maybe 2 different plays I kept in an extra blocker. So I didn't have to, like, overly Madden to pass protect at all. I never called out the mic at all. It defaults pretty well. So I think before in some previous Maddens you had to do that a lot, but I don't really think you need to too much. You just got to keep an eye on, like, some really obvious stuff, and practice mode's good for that as well. So let's look at the Lions offense. If we switch over to them, Stafford 105, and that's just a tick above his career average. His career average is, like, right around, like, 101, I want to say. 66%, which again, right around his career average. 247 yards. Would have probably had a higher completion percentage. I just had some weird, a couple plays that I didn't like. You know, I made some bad decisions on passes, and then some of them were just like, oh, like we said, like there wasn't a run after the catch like I was anticipating. So there's some weird throws that were happening, but overall that's, you know, pretty consistent. 2 touchdowns and a pick. Probably 1,001 games of Stafford's career where he's had something like that. 48 yards and 9 average. That's a little bit higher than his career average, but of course, I mean, we had some pretty big passes today, so that's kind of normal. Rushing, really happy to see DeAndre Swift got 21 carries, but at 80 yards, so not like a earth-shattering day, but he had a really nice touchdown run that he bounced to the outside for his first career touchdown. Kerryon Johnson couldn't get things going, but he did have a couple really nice runs in the second half that were instrumental. Stafford scrambled once just for a couple of yards, about killed himself. I thought it said yards after catch. I'm like, he somehow had yards after catch. But he did break a tackle, which is kind of cool, and fell forward. So very Stafford-esque of him risking it there. Receiving, as we kind of talked about, we didn't think Marvin Jones would have a big day, or whoever was matched up on Kyle Fuller. But he still did actually pretty well. 3 catches for 70 yards. That's a damn good day. But really the story here is Kenny Galladay, 7 catches, 135 yards. Nearly 20 yards per catch, also had 2 touchdowns. And again, wasn't really running with the ball at all. I mean, he was only getting a yard after the catch. So, I mean, he was just running routes, getting open, and securing the ball. So, a couple dump offs to the running backs. Backup tight end, Hawkinson had that one, but it was a big catch, a big 3rd down conversion. Fullback had a catch. Amendola, I missed at least once, if not twice this game. He ran a couple nice routes, so we'll look to get him involved as well. But you know, last thing I want to do is force it. So see, blocking, we didn't have any stats blocking. Weird. And we look at our defense. So yeah, pretty good game. I'll check the chat and see if you guys have any questions or anything you want to take a look at or have a question about. Let's see, there's a lot going on in the chat here. Mosaic asked, when did I start my franchise? I created it, I think, whatever day the roster came out. Was that yesterday? Or Thursday? It was whatever day. I started it that day. And just was like setting up my depth chart and stuff. This is the first game, obviously, I played. Let's see. 8.4 yards per attempt. I'm guessing, was that Trubisky? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's much more telling, you're right, than percentage. So, I mean, he played well. So, again, we get the win here. Lions are happy, but, I mean, we let Mitch Trubisky put up 108.99 or 0.9 QB rating. Last year, when the Lions played a game against Trubisky, I think he had his best game of the year, and I may be a little off on the number, but I want to say he had a QB rating of like 122. 122, Mitch Trubisky. It was ridiculous. So, you know, to think like, oh, you're letting Trubisky, it's happened in real life too. So, and the Lions defense isn't that great. We have some good corners, we have a decent defensive line. I think that's what we saw today, but like we struggled at times. We struggled stopping. We gave up chunk plays, way too many times. So, a better offense than the Bears, this might not be a win, which we're going to see in week 2 when we play the Packers. Let's see other comments here. Yeah, tackle for loss is good. Yeah, you're right. Raider brings up a good point. Tackle for loss is a stat that, Madden's had trouble with over the years keeping that in line. And yeah, it's good. Like, you still see guys get kind of bottled up. Like, Kerryon Johnson couldn't get it going, but it's not like he had like 65 negative rushing attempts. So that's really, really good to see. So I agree. But that was fun. That was a really fun game. And I mean, it took my focus. Did I play exceptionally well? No. I would say, again, probably played average, maybe a tick above average. And so that's kind of what I said I am. Like, I'm not a Madden streamer. I don't play MUT. I purposely was avoiding calling certain plays that I felt maybe the coach was spamming a little bit too much. So, I mean, I was trying to, handicap in a way that kept it as realistic as possible still. So, but, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Week 2 will be the Packers. And also week 2 after the game is when we'll get to see the draft class for the first time. So I think we're going to wrap up the stream here. I have people want me to play game 2. My literally, like, my butt and back are hurting. I've been sitting here for too long. So, but maybe I'll probably play it later today. So if you hit subscribe on that YouTube channel, it'll ping you, and we can take a look at how the Lions do in week 2. Not a whole lot going on this weekend, which is kind of nice. So I'll definitely have some time to get week 2, and probably today. So if you want to chat with me further, though, again, you can leave comments on this YouTube channel, especially if you're watching it. If you're watching this video kind of post-stream, that's fine. I'll get to those comments. You can find me on Twitter at MikeLowe47. I appreciate the follows on that. And that Twitter account is just strictly, like, it's just sports stuff. I mean, it's sports gaming in particular. Once in a while, I probably follow some Lions or something like that. But, usually just talking sport gaming and things like that on that Twitter. So, but yeah, I appreciate the follows on everything. The sliders themselves, which I think showcase themselves really well today, those are up on Operation Sports in their Madden slider form. And yeah, I think that about covers it. Yeah, computers throw a lot. Again, just a few last comments coming in. But it's the NFL, man. I mean, that's where the NFL is shifting for sure. Mosaic says sliders felt really good to me. Gonna update you with changes and give that a try. Or gonna update with your changes, give it a try. Doubt I'll lower computer run blocking because I kept them in check. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, and some of that's just, it just depends on the team you're playing with. I mean, moving things around a few notches. Some sliders they're not correlated like perfectly to one another. So like some sliders do impact things more. Like, for instance, like the block in the back slider. That's a really sensitive slider. Like, you go up one notch and it starts to go crazy. Whereas like the defensive pass interference, you can put that at probably 99 and it's not a huge difference from like 70. So yeah, just kind of fiddling around a little bit is totally fine. I encourage it. I don't care if you adjust the slider set. I don't have some weird slider ego. I don't care if you take them and tweak them to your liking. The only thing I ask is just try to keep it like within that thread, right? So like, because it helps other people and it helps me provide kind of like a decent base when I see other people like here. Like, oh, I had a really easy time stopping the run. Oh, okay, that's good to know because my team struggled. So maybe there's something in between those two that we can look at as a good base for people. So so that's the only reason I say, just to try and keep it in that thread. It just keeps the thoughts and kind of the analysis and stats and so on centralized, and it just helps anybody, not just me, but someone who might see this 6 months from now and gets Madden on sale or something like that. So that's the whole idea. But yeah, I appreciate you guys checking out. That was a lot of fun. So I'll see you for week 2. I don't know. It won't be long. I have not a whole lot going on. I might go work out or something, but other than that, yeah, pretty much just gonna be bumming around. So I'll see you guys soon enough. Talk to you then.